We are at the pool in Eingetti Guest House.
Okay, guys, get the boys. Jesse, David, we got 5 minutes. Go. Now. Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
How's your aerobic capacity?
Lousy.
Yeah.
How's yours?
You're just never in.
But I do it. You get me there.
This is a wonderful spot.
I think we should have lunch.
Yeah. Look at that. There's a square down.
Short of dressing. Oh, good. I forget it.
I just feel
I don't do. I see what she
climbing.
what does she do? Maybe he does his work. And he would start in this so Cubic said it's sort of one of the signs. Sometimes.
Right?
Masada.
I know, I can hear.
No, he has
felt fine as soon as I got up here, but
That's what they measure a lot. Is how fast you recoup.
oh really?
Yeah.
Well, when I just got measured in that treadmill thing, I told you I had that analysis with Jason Sands, and she just counted me, but she didn't know I was on the right list. Which is what I funny. That's what you do. I was using up too much of. I pushed myself and I overused it, but I was working. Whereas it's like
How long did it take you to walk up?
Just 25 minutes flat to walk up the side.
And were you the first ones up?
For the first one, we even beat the people that came up the cable car.
Thank you, Phil.
How long did it take the other people to come up?
45 an hour.
How did you feel when you got up?
Terrible.
How did you feel, Serge?
Okay.
Don't hold.
How do you feel now?
Why don't you give me the hat?
How do you feel now?
Good. Fine. But we had our fans here.
Good. Okay.
Pain is temporary. Glory is forever.
Okay, we can start.
Really?
So she's down at the spa?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is adding insult to injury, Mr. Benanav.
Mosaic floors in Masada.
We're going to be able probably tomorrow to see a mosaic that looks almost exactly like this in one of the fancy houses of Jerusalem at the same time. And that gives you the idea that I was saying that these places were as beautiful as the navigation to build hotels out here with private funds. One person himself and his family built something as magnificent as this out in the middle of nowhere. It's really hard for us to imagine. Now, this was the bathhouse, and the minute you could turn around and we're on this side, you could walk around there and see over there was an actual bathtub. Later on, the zealots even built a mikvah, and don't go yet, come back, let's go. The zealots even built a mikvah. I haven't talked yet about the zealots, but I sure will a lot. Using the water system that was in the same palace. And the bathhouse was really an important part of the place. It wasn't just where you took a bath, but you'd spend a really lot of time. You'd be lounging around, you'd be hanging out, you'd be getting a massage, you'd be going to the hot bath, the sauna, and I'm going to be showing you where that is in a little while. Anyhow, one of the things we look at, we see it's just a simple rose pattern, and there's this wave pattern, those curlicues there. Herod ordered all of the buildings that he built, wherever we found mosaics that he did, none of them had human or animal images. That was apparently a concession that he made to the fact that he was king of the Jews, and the Jews wouldn't have taken it, wouldn't have allowed him to have broken the commandment that said no human or animal images. So we think that he stuck pretty close to that just to try and keep the balance with his subjects. But if you see, this used to be perfect, and then on this corner, this part didn't last, that was destroyed. But over on this corner, there's another structure. Okay, if we could be all archaeologists for a minute, we can see that something else was built on the floor. Doesn't look very good. Okay, it doesn't look very nice or pretty, and it destroyed a corner of the mosaic. The archaeologists found, apparently, here, a furnace, a stove that was used for smelting iron, for melting iron and making iron so that the zealots, the revolutionaries, could make arrowheads so that they could fight against the Romans. This was one of the sites that they found a munitions factory, an ammunition factory that the zealots were making. So we know that the zealots, the revolutionaries, were living in all the buildings that then existed. They weren't using them like Herod did. They were living here with their families, and wherever they found a need to change things around a little, they changed things around. So those are the two periods that we find. Now, if you look over there, you can see the bathtub, and if you haven't seen it, that brought flood water from the mountains all the way in the distance, really far there, and all the way to Masada, where Herod ordered dubbed 12.
thin sun.
Oh, that's a good shade. That's a good suggestion.
Okay, now,
Go ahead.
one of the things that you're going to hear me tell you about was near existing water sources so that they could, that's a ritual purification place, so that they could have, they could be ritually pure according to Jewish law. There are actually, this is interesting that there are two little tubs right here, you could see, and then a flight of steps going down into the mikveh. Tubs and mikveh, so because first you washed yourself, got yourself clean, and then you went into the mikveh, because the mikveh you weren't taking as a bath to get yourself clean, but you were getting rid of, using the water as a symbol to get rid of what they called ritual impurity, which meant if you had come in contact with a dead body, or if you had had skin diseases, or had come in contact with some kinds of bugs and other kinds of.
And today,
The mikveh in St. Paul has
7 steps, right?
Okay, we have another point now where we have to be out in the sun. We'll get to the next page.
Oh, I didn't know that you were showing me money. And, it was lovely. It was expensive. But it was elegant.
We are walking on Masada. Hope you can see something. It's pretty bright out here.
More what?
They started to build a ramp.
The Romans put the
The
ramp.
remains of that ramp you can see down there. After 2,000 years, the ramp still remains. If we were to walk up the ramp, I would be able to show you the wooden slats or the wooden supports that held the ramp together. They can still be seen sticking out from the sides there. And when the ramp got tall enough and wide enough, what you're seeing now has been eroded away over 2,000 years, the Romans started to push and pull their siege machines up to the top. Now, if you want to know what that looked like, you could just look at this picture right here. This picture was drawn, if you want to come around, you can see it. This picture was drawn from the point of view of the Roman soldiers at the bottom at the time that they were building the ramp. Could you see them? Mm-hmm. Now, how were they protected? They had to be protected. Why did they have to be protected with those skins that are over them? Why do you think they had to be protected?
From the attacks from above.
Right. From the sun? Some, yeah, probably. But from attacks from the top. Because it was so easy just to take your building apart and throw big, stones down on them. Many of the Roman soldiers who were building this ramp certainly died that way. But finally they pushed and pulled their siege machines up to the top, and those siege machines looked like, I can't find it, but I'll show you soon. Here we go. One of the things they had was this, which was called ballistra, a catapult. Okay, it was like a huge slingshot. They'd take stones and they'd stick them in there, and they'd twist a rope, twist. All over the land of Israel. The only one that's been found at the same time as this is in Gamla
Synagogue
Heights, which I was
at
already
Masada.
talking to people about earlier, where a community was at this time. Anyhow, at the time of when Herod built Masada, he built this room, but he certainly, or he didn't use it as a synagogue. We don't know what it was used for when Herod built it. The Zealots got here. The Zealots were very big on community life and decisions. They were entirely and completely focused on their goal. They were the ones who turned this room into a synagogue. They did it by building the benches that you're sitting on. And they also did it by cutting off the back, by building this wall and cutting off the back little section of the room there where they had a genizah, a place to keep Torah or Bible or prayer scrolls, commentaries that were too worn out to be used anymore. And the archaeologists came up here. They discovered in this room and in another room around the corner over here several of the scrolls that were no doubt used by the people of this community, by the zealots of this community. One of the scrolls that was found intact was the scroll of Ezekiel, which has a very moving description of Ezekiel's idea of of redemption, of rebirth, and it's a prophecy called the Valley of the Dry Bones, where Ezekiel sees the bones come alive and come to life. So if we're talking about Masada as a symbol, this is one of the things that we think about, that people saw their own worldview and their own establishment of a country under the worst circumstances. They looked at the resistance of these people and they saw it as something that they needed to emulate. My imagination leads me to think that the community up here, the leaders of the community, might have taken the decision to take their lives and the lives of their families in this place. It's very easy to imagine the council meetings taking place in a setting like this. And this is where people have their bar mitzvahs. Why would you have your bar mitzvah facade at all? What would be the thought you think people would have their bar mitzvahs here? Spiritual?
Jesse thought about it.
Yeah. A lot of people have the feeling that they want to remember and admire the spirit of the people who were up here under those extremely difficult circumstances for all the years that they were here. Okay, let's go on. Josephus, who sometimes we can believe and sometimes we can't, says that they were eating the food that Herod had put in storehouses 100 years before. Okay, would you? No, that's not logical. What they were actually doing was coming and going. Why were the zealots here? Just because they were waiting for the end? No. The zealots came because they could use Masada as a sortie, a place to sortie out to the mountains where there were Jewish villages and Roman soldiers that were going in between these Jewish villages and making their lives difficult, and they could go out and capture the Roman patrols on the roads. So they were coming and going almost to the end. However, Herod did have storehouses here. There was food found in them, even by the archaeologists 2,000 years later. The storehouses for the food are right there. You can see these long buildings. But recognizable. Food that they found in these long buildings here. And Herod also built this tower, which you see up there, because that was guarding the food, the ammunition that was here. Josephus says there was enough ammunition, armies for 10,000 people he had put in here. And also that tower was to guard Herod's home address, the northern palace, which we're going to see. Yesterday, Beit Shammai said, you're not going to understand why these people want to have a sauna. Now you definitely can't understand, okay? But the thing wasn't modular. When you ordered a bathhouse, the sauna came with. So you had to make it. And the reason why they had I was starting to tell you the other places. The reason why they had bathhouses is the place where you socialize. It's the place where you relax. It's like a community center, like the JCC. Or we call the RCC, okay, the Roman Community Center of those days. So they were all set up in the same way. They had a dressing room, which we're in right now. They had a room for under the floor. So the floor was hot. The walls had a double thing too, so that the heat could travel up in between a beautifully finished wall and the outside wall of the building. And then you had your bath attendants come in here with jars of water and spread it on the floor, or you had a bath, that sunken bath right in there with water in it. So steam would be created. Everything was closed up, not like now. And then when the steam hit the ceiling, it wouldn't drip down on your head, but because of the curve in the ceiling, it would go nicely down to the wall, on the floor, turn into steam again. So this is what I just get hotter even thinking about it. This is what Herod's bathhouse looked like. We don't know what the zealots used this for, but we know that in the first changing room, they built a bath of their own in there, probably not for recreation, but maybe for hygiene. So what we're going to do now is go and find a place in the shade where we can sit and I can tell you the rest of the story of what happened at Masada. Then after that, we're going to go down to the cable car.
Hey, where's Sam?
Stand here. Sam, turn around. Come on, Sam. Come on.
Hey guys, having fun?
Sisters. Oh, I think I got it on my mouth.
Guys. Jesse and Serge already know how to do it. Hi. Hey, David. No way.
All right.
Hey, Serge.
David, do it.
she goes. You didn't know it was possible. There goes the rabbi. Woo!
I feel like I'm fishing Bob.
Now you should both put. Now I'll put both your hands up in the air.
Well, only because we're not putting our head in. The hands aren't so bad. The feet, you can't get it.
Give it in my pocket.
Now you can cross your legs.
Are you going with the dead? That's okay.
Wait,
We're
that's
on
a
the,
cute one.
the Dead Sea, seeing Shir Tikva floating in the Dead Sea.
Shir of David, Psalm 122. I rejoiced when they said to me, "We are going to the house of Adonai." Our feet stood inside your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem built up, a city knit together, to which tribes would make pilgrimage, the tribes of Adonai, as was enjoined upon Israel, to praise the name of Adonai. There the thrones of judgment stood, thrones of the house of David. Pray for the well-being of Jerusalem. May those who love you be at peace. May there be well-being within your ramparts, peace in your citadels. For the sake of my kin and friends, I pray for your well-being. For the sake of the house of Adonai our God, I seek your good. And Psalm 137, which those of us who were yet at Shabbat services at Shir Tikva before we departed know so well. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, may my right hand forget its cunning. May my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth, if I do not set Jerusalem above my highest joy. And now the Shehechianu prayer, which we say upon experiencing new things, the first fruit of the season, new moments in our lives. And this certainly for our group together is indeed a very special moment, worthy of blessing, as we say together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'nihiyanu la'zman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God. We thank you for keeping us alive and sustaining us and allowing us all to reach this special moment in our lives. From the prophet Zechariah, thus says Adonai, I will return to Zion and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. There shall yet old men and old women sit in the broad places of Jerusalem, and the broad places of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing. The popular song written by Nomi Shemer, Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, Jerusalem of gold, V'shel Nechoshet, V'shel Ur, and also of copper and of light, inspired by the stones of Jerusalem, which emanate gold and copper and colors of light, and also the intertwining of those colors of the stones with the light of the sun as it shines upon Jerusalem. Yerushalayim Shel Zahav.